We are back at it again. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, people? All right, so this ain't gonna be long. This is not gonna be long. This is not gonna be long. So if you're coming in late, sorry for you. All right, so we're gonna get in talking about kids. Molly Moore. That's one of the books. I put the first link in the description, and that was a school teacher. I follow her on Instagram. She's a school teacher. What's going on, boss lady? She's a school teacher that wrote a book, and I believe she was a pre-K or kindergarten teacher when I was watching her live last night. But I follow her on Instagram because she talks good about money and everything. Cool gamer, what's going on too, Raw? Hey, you finally stepped in the building, man. Hey, man, I'm gonna have to drop my number, man, so you can hit me back up, man. Uh, hit she we here at Gmail, and I'll shoot you my number or stuff like that. But what's going on with you? But yeah, teaching kids about money, man. Yeah, man, you been gone, man. Where you been to, bro? Hey, been waiting on these discussions, man. I like uh a little small little back and forth when we had these gender topics, man. You know, I be he be caping for the females. What's going on with you too, bro? But yeah, man. Like I said, I ain't gonna be here too long. Uh, the main focus of the day is just for the kids. I always talk about stuff for kids. I always talk about. I try to teach my kids some form of money now. Um, getting them in the business and stuff like that. Yeah. Ah man. Yeah, you got a story about it, man. I need to hear that. But a lot of times kids don't know this stuff because we don't tell them at a young age. And I put a YouTube link in the description as well, and it talks going into a lot of good details to help parents explain to kids about money. Because the crazy part is when it comes down to it, in the video it stated that, and it's true. It's a lot of stuff we talk about our kids about sex. We talk to our kids about driving. We talk to our kids about doing work, what type of career, what type of job they want to have. But we really never go into depth about money. I always talk about one of my friends. He always say that his mom told him about credit in very just one very simple sentence. Don't do it. You know, just don't do it. Like basically three words. Don't do it. And he was like, "Well, you're not gonna tell me anything else about credit. You're not gonna, give me. Don't do it." That's all she said. Don't do it. So he's under the expectation of not getting a credit card. And when he met his wife, she has several credit cards. She's at a position to where she's she's doing a lot for herself. Sweet Thumb, what's going on with you? I was just checking out your video about your racks inside your house and everything. Getting into the hydro. Was it hydroponics? Mike, I know he's heavy in it and everything. I saw you. I think it's the wig, whatever 2023 um challenge that you was gonna do, and I was like, it's wig. It's spelled wig. But say the least, um, teaching your kids about money at a young age, you know, showing them, that's the same thing I tell my sons when I make them do the chores. I say, look, you're getting a position to do chores for responsibility. And I was talking to my son. I say, the main reason why I did my chores, and he was like, because you want to be responsible, because you want to be a good child. I was like, nope. Because you want to clean good, because you want to be, keep the house clean. No. And he was like, well, what it was? I said, I just didn't want to hear my grandma mouth. I stayed with my grandma. I just didn't want to hear her mouth complaining to me about doing my chores. So that's what made me want to do the chores, so I wouldn't get fussed out. Well, I wouldn't, be walking doing my chores and she in my ear the whole time nagging. See, if you did this earlier, you wanna see if you'd have swept the floor earlier. See if you'd have washed it. I was like, I just don't. That's why I'm so keen about, not really dealing in situations or having a boss that can, control situations, run over you, or act a certain way. I guess that's me. That's why I can quit a job real quick and go find something else. If I feel like somebody's coming at me, it's easy for me to walk away from it because I have several jobs that I do anyway. So I put myself in a position not to be tied down to where no one has control over me like that. Because, even with days off, I tell my job, I say I barely take days off. So if you don't want to let me take these days off, I'm taking them off. You just gonna have to write me up. Then I tell them that, and the point of them threatening to fire me is nothing to me, but it's not about me and, my mindset, but, just teaching the kids a mindset. So basically, that's why I get them in the mindset of when you're doing your chores, this is like your job. Same thing with dealing with money. I get them in the mindset that the things that you do now have effects on you later in life. I'll talk about another situation. Several things I'll talk about on my show when I relate to family members and friends. I have a play cousin that his dad owned about 23 houses. And this guy's probably 36 now, don't even own a home, always stayed in an apartment, don't know the first thing about buying a home or anything. And run with Hudson. What's going on? And the crazy part was I talked to him and I was like, well, why you never asked your dad to teach you about buying homes? And he's like, well, I never thought about it like that. He's like, but why he didn't teach me? He's older, he's the parent, and he's throwing all this stuff out. And the first thing I told him, I said, as a parent, you should know you're one now. You have 3 kids. In your regard, you should get to a point to where you should start knowing your child to teach them this stuff. Because in my opinion, like I told him, I said your dad probably thought you wasn't ready to learn about buying a house. Excuse me. So that's why he didn't teach you. I said prime example. I'm not gonna teach my kids something that I know they're not ready for. I wrestled in high school and I looked at my sons wanting to wrestle and I told them if you want to wrestle, you actually got to, be in the business of it. You got to practice. You got to, be dedicated to it. And that's what I try to get him into finance and the business. I bought my son a gaming computer, like I told him. I said, you're going to pay for this gaming computer yourself. He's like, well, I don't make that much for my allowance and I don't hardly get my allowance. I said, yeah, because you don't do your chores correctly. I said, as a job, if I don't do my job properly every single week, I'll get fired. But you as a child, if you don't do your job properly, you just don't get paid. So when it comes down to, hold on one, but in regards to that, like I told him, if you don't do the right thing, you're literally just not gonna get paid. And then it makes it worse as time go on because then I start adding punishment, and if need be, disciplinary action needs to be taken just to teach you a lesson. I will do it. Like I tell people, I never seen a real big benefit in whooping a child to a certain degree, but I know there's times that it is needed. And for the most part, I think my kids probably been they got a whooping probably about what 3, 2, 3 times, and they don't get spankings. Like they get whooping. So if they did something to the deserve or get that bad where they have to get it, they get it. You know. And sometimes it's a teaching moment. Sometimes you always have to, whip out that old belt and grease that wheel just to let them know that, hey, this could be you 10 times worse. But say the least, motivating and teaching your kids, that's my goal. Like I tell my wife, me being a man, it's my job to be hard on my kids, my daughter as well, because life is not gonna be easy. And the moment you give your child so many breaks, they're gonna expect life to give them breaks. Same as dealing with your money. So I tend to show them, like, look, my sons went and got some shoes. I told them, I said, I don't pay $200 for my shoes because they were picking Jordans for 250, 200 and something. I don't even pay $200 for my shoes. So what make you think I'm gonna pay 200 for your shoes? One of my sons, I think it was like last time he got a pair of shoes for 180. They said the shoes were on sale for $100. Ended up being 180 when I got to the register. I could have easily put him back, but I was like, well, he does make good grades. I guess I'll give him the extra, you know, because I normally do no more than 150, you know. And it came from a long way from when I used to get shoes. My grandmother, her whole thing was $50, you know, and it was crazy. And I was like, $50? I I think Payless shoes cost more than $50, but going to an outlet or something like that, you choose to have to be a little savvy more with your dress style. That's why the 2 for $89 Air Force Ones and Felines came in handy with me when I was in school because that created a deal for her. Two pair of shoes, they're $40 a piece, or 45 or something and some change. So, you kind of know how to work the magic when you're dealing with parents, just the way parents work with you in dealing with the prices. But needless to say, when they got those shoes, I explained to them all the things you've done over the year. I'm taking in account. You're not doing your chores right. That's why you're not getting the allowance to pay for yourself. My wife had this lady she was talking to, and she was saying that we both should pay our kids $20 a week. And I was like, no, there's no way I'm giving a child $20 a week and both of us. What's going on, Bronx? I seen one of your videos the other day, man. It was pretty good. The one about the actor from Good was it no, the Sanford and Son. The actor from Sanford and Son Lamont. It was pretty interesting, man. I liked that video. I liked it and I shared. I think I actually shared it to my Facebook. But needless to say, teaching my kids the basics about money. You know, I set them down several times and I showed them my check. I showed them how much I have coming in. I showed them I had going out, and no problem, no problem. And it came to a point to where they was like, "Dang, daddy, like after you pay all these bills, the groceries, the karate, you, you don't be having no money left." And I was like, "This is just 1 week." I said, "Now let me show you how much I make for the month." I dropped that on them. They was like, "Oh, well, that's a lot." But then I was like, "Okay, let me pull all these bills and show you all this." And I literally had to show them, you know, the point of me making money and me having to spend money. Sometimes you technically make less than what you spend. So how do you handle that position? You have to, schedule things by priority. Or another thing that my favorite is always make more money. So it gets to a point where I started teaching my kids, look, if you do a little more work, I coach wrestling. I have my kids, if you come help me with wrestling, clean up or, help roll the mats up with the team and stuff, then this what you get. If you don't do it, this what you don't get. So, just benefits, working hard. Like I told you, my oldest son, I taught him this when he went to college. He had 2 jobs. He worked at Best Buy and he worked at Sonny's. The reason why he liked working at Sonny's was because he didn't have to worry about food as a college kid. I was like, "That's smart." The reason why he got at Best Buy was because of his electronics that he can get through here for his college, and he can give people hookups or something like that to where they give them a little kickback, a little extra. One moment. So when it comes down to it, my older son, he learned the value of money by me talking to him several times, but mainly what he's seen. He's seen me go and have two jobs. He's seen me taking care of the bills. And when he needs something, I would come to him and we'll rationalize. I say, "You want a PlayStation 4? I'll get you a PlayStation 4." I had a PlayStation 3 and I still got it. But he wanted a PlayStation 4. I said, "Well, if you get this PlayStation 4, I'll get it for you. This is what needs to be done." You know, and same thing with his school clothes. I never had a problem with him buying his school clothes because to me, I think I was a little more in fashion tune than he was. The shoes kind of lost me, but kids these days, like my son was into basic shoes. He wasn't into the Jordans and stuff like that. He more or less would get a pair. I think he didn't really start wearing Jordans till he graduated high school. He more or less was focused on the basic things like, a nice pair of running shoes because he played soccer a lot. He liked running. He did ROTC. So those were the things that he actually liked. And so he garnered himself on when he's spending his money to get those certain things like that. Other than that, there was pretty much no need for him to get into anything else. But needless to say, I'm about to get ready to jump off of here. But in total, teaching your kids the basics, like I said, check out the videos in the description so you can, get an understanding of what I'm talking about because majority of the time it's a give and a take. You have to show your kids the main reason why they want this thing and how much it costs and what is the benefit. Teaching your kids needs versus wants is a great way to handle that situation. A need versus a want. Do I need this thing or do I want it? Same thing with parents. You have a woman, she don't need a $5,000 purse. She wants a $5,000 purse. She can take $100 or $50 purse and work just the same as that $5,000 purse. The only difference is the quality and the material and the length of you having that item, you know, because for people that know about cars, cars depreciate as soon as you drive it off the lot. If you get a $80,000 Mercedes, soon as you drive it off the lot, it's pretty much almost depreciated about 10 to 15%. Soon as you drive it off the lot, about 10 to 15%. That car is not worth anything hardly that much. And that's the thing with a lot of people, you know, if you get these high end cars, you know that the value is going to depreciate. You know you're going to have to pay more in maintenance and stuff like that. So, are you prepared for that? And the ones that don't want to get that, you know, what will be your value in getting another car compared to getting a Mercedes? That's the whole thing. Learning this stuff as a kid, you use this when you become an adult. And like I say, a lot of times with most of the stuff I'm teaching, I'm learning this on the fly. I'm behind on the eight ball. I started learning these things at such a young age to the point where about life insurance, but the other things I was missing out on. So it came apart to where I had to, actually be a student of the game and study a lot of this stuff to make myself better and knowledgeable about things. So with that being said, like I said, I wasn't gonna be on here long. I might even go in depth on it a little more Saturday or this afternoon, maybe. But needless to say, shout out to everybody here and get your kids involved in learning about money. Same thing with nieces and nephews, family members. Like I've always said, if you don't have kids, you mean to tell me there's no young person that you can influence their life to make their life better. So with that being said, my motto, when I get ready to leave, I tell you be plain, cut, dry to the point. We here and we gone.